All right, welcome everybody. This is Jaden Sichone. So today I want to talk about attitude and why we need to embrace pain and hardships and setbacks and difficulties in life. Most of the times people like to seek comfort at an early age or at an early time in their life. So most of the times when we're working on things like a career, for example, a relationship and stuff like that, we want to rush straight to everything just working out. And this is something that I've seen society bend towards. It's like everybody wants to preach, it's gonna be okay, just persevere and be all that stuff. It's like we're trying to put, the peacefulness, the comforts, the good in front before we undergo the hardships. But then we have to understand the nature of a human being. Like people are, like human beings are to some extent nurtured to become. It's like there has to be a process before something turns out positive. And this is something that even society has to understand. And it's something I thought I talk about today. So I'm going to focus so much on attitude. Like, you can't have a positive mindset or a positive attitude or positive habits if you just go straight to the good. Like, I'm not saying it's not okay for someone to just go straight to having everything on their silver plate or something like that. Obviously, maybe some people have parents who are already established and stuff like that. So, yeah, good for you. But then the thing is, to those who are still struggling to build their own, lives and stuff like that, I feel like we have to embrace the painful situations. There's this thing I've come to observe in life. Like, you could have everything going on well, and you notice how you fall into the no question mode. Like, you just stop asking questions. Like, everything just seems all right. Like, at that time when you have money to cover up on your rent, your bills, your expenses and stuff like that, you ask less questions about how to survive in the future. But then when you lack those things, you fall into let me ask. You fall into that zone. It's like you start asking so many questions to yourself, like, how am I going to get the next meal tomorrow? How am I going to pay for my child's school fees? And how am I going to do all that stuff? So for me, it's like, until we learn to embrace the difficult situations and the painfulness of life, we are not going to see the betterment in life. Like, it's not going to be easy. One bad thing about seeking so much comfort is that you forget that you are the one to build your life. I'm so much down for we don't have free will kind of conversations, yes, but attitude is built on the grounds of difficulty. Most people don't really realize this. Until you learn to embrace the difficulties, you're not going to ask questions. It's like you're just going to seek comfort. Like, all you want to see is things going on well, but then you can't live a life that's super based on things going on well. As a human being, you are you are you are you are an individual that seeks to inhale pain for you to understand why you need the good. Like, indirectly, it's not like you always have to go through the bad, but until you see how painful it is to not have, then you get to see how much you need to seek for the things that you need. But the problem is, again, you don't need to have the things attained without the painful, because you don't become capable. It's not the situations that change. It's your mindset that changes. It's your attitude that changes towards the difficulties of life. So if you don't go through the painful situations, like, you're not built to handle them again when they come. Yeah. So once you go through them, you're being taught and you're being molded into becoming more capable of handling them in the future. The difference is, people who don't have and then have, the difference in between is just how you had the things you got. Some people go the easy way. They have, when those things go away, they stress, they get depressed and all that stuff, because then you're not capable of getting them again. But if a child is raised to be more capable of getting the things by themselves, even when they lack the things, the mindset is built to fight for the things they want. This is why today I think if we're going to embrace the seek the comfort conversation now, it's not going to do us any good in the future, because people are going to be so, weak and so soft to handle the situations that are going to come. The mindsets are going to be like super weak. It's like, why are things going force for me? Like, why is the other person having everything that I want to have and stuff like that? But the questions that you have to ask are not the questions that compare you to other people. Like, you have to change your attitude. Like, be you and just start working for the things you want. Like, wake up with a question: what am I going to do today? As little as it can be, focus on that one thing. Make sure that it leads you to the next thing tomorrow. Don't be asking questions that compare you to other people, because how other people get their own stuff is their own, issue. If your situations are like super difficult every day, you're gonna have to have an attitude that handles those situations properly every day. Because once your mindset is like, I can't afford it, I can't manage, you know, who am I to go through that? I've never been to school and do that stuff. Until you change your mindset to, if I do one thing today, I know I'm going to change my life. It only takes minimum a year to just put things together. Once you put the things together in a year, you have 5 more years to just like remain consistently established. But then if you can't see through that cycle of life, it's going to be difficult, because your mindset is like, I can't afford anything. So build an attitude that is more capable of handling situations. Again, I'm going to repeat this: situations don't change. It's your mindset that changes and handles things better. You're not telling me Bill Gates never stresses. He does. You're not telling me Elon Musk never gets depressed. He does to some extent. You're not telling me Zuckerberg never went through the difficulties that most people are going through today. Everybody did, yeah? But then it's their mindset that makes them persevere more and more. It's like they have a goal. It's like they have a purpose to live for, such that even when they are faced with difficult situations, like, they're capable of just walking straight up and saying, you know what, it's gonna pass. I'll manage. It's just that attitude that we need. I'm not saying you're gonna control your life from now on. No, this is where the word realization comes in. It's like, to realize doesn't mean you take control of your life or your situations. It just simply means you become in sync with the things that you go through, and that's mindset. So once you realize your situations and you become of an attitude that is more capable of handling those situations, the next thing that happens is change. It's automatic. So you start living your life based on, this is happening, yeah, it's happening, I'm not going to stress about it, what comes next? That's what starts happening. So now it's like you shift from that mentality of, I'm not going to afford it, I'm not going to manage, why is it better for Bill Gates and not me? You get into a zone, into a path where it's like, I know I can do it. If only I can do this one thing today, tomorrow will be better. That's how it works. So build an attitude and just be